Hi, welcome to our Pharma Topics channel, which aims at simplifying the pharmacy subjects and allied health sciences subjects. Our topic of discussion is anti-tubercular drugs. Before entering into the chapter, let us see some basics of the tuberculosis. Actually, it is a disease which affects the lungs at the starting earlier stages. It is caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis, and also there is a subclass of non-tuberculous species which affects the HIV/AIDS patients, which is a Mycobacterium avium complex. The earlier stages proceed to miliary tuberculosis, then it proceeds to cavitary tuberculosis, that is, it forms many cavities or holes in the lungs. The last stage is gaseous tuberculosis, where more sputum is formed. The symptoms of tuberculosis include a persistent or continuous cough, constant weakness, weight loss, coughing with blood, and night sweats. And the TB may proceed from the lungs to other organs chronically. It may affect the brain, meningitis, it may affect the lymph, it may affect the spleen, kidney, spine, endometrium, yeah, salpingitis, and epididymis. So let us see the classification of anti-tubercular drugs. Basically, the mycolic acid is the important acid which is found in the cell wall of the Mycobacterium tuberculosis, which is encoded by the different genes such as CATG, INH, CASA, RPO, PNCA, EMAB, and gyrase. And proteins are synthesized by the ribosomal fractions in the endoplasmic reticulum, and it also generates energy through ATP. And there is one important amino acid, L-alanine, is converted by D-alanine by means of the enzyme racemase. And this D-alanine is incorporated in the cell wall for the formation of mycolic acid by alanine ligase. So let us see the drugs. The first one is a very important drug, isoniazid. It is represented by the letter H. The next drug is rifampicin. It inhibits the enzyme DNA-dependent RNA polymerase and represented by the letter R. And next is pyrazinamide, which is represented by Z. And next is ethambutol, represented by the letter E. And the next drugs are fluoroquinolones, which are DNA gyrase inhibitors. And 30 is ribosomal inhibitors, aminoglycosides. And the last category of drugs are cycloserine and terisidenone, which inhibit the racemase and alanine ligase. So alanine incorporation into the mycolic acid is inhibited. And the newer drug is bedaquiline. It is the last drug which has been introduced for tuberculosis. It deprives the cell of ATP and kills the cells. Let us see the drugs individually. First drug is isoniazid. So this is our host cell. It is infected with the tuberculosis bacilli, and isoniazid comes and enters into the TB bacilli cells. And with the help of a CATG gene, it converts to nicotinyl radicals. The nicotinyl radicals are NAD plus and NADP plus. They lead to formation of nicotinyl NAD plus adduct, nicotinyl NADP plus adduct, and oxy R radicals. A nicotinyl NAD plus adduct leads to inhibition of the gene INHA and KSA, which causes inhibition of mycolic acid synthesis. Whereas the NAD plus DP plus adduct leads to inhibition of dihydrofolate reductase, which consequently causes inhibition of nucleic acid synthesis. The oxy R leads to generation of free radicals, which kills the bacilli. Phenytoin, when it is combined with isoniazid, isoniazid is a CYP450 enzyme inhibitor, so it leads to toxicity of phenytoin, that is nystagmus and ataxia. Let us see the classical features of isoniazid. It is metabolized by acetylation. Actually, isoniazid gets metabolized first by CYP2E1 to acetyl hydrazine. Then it is converted, acetyl hydrazine is converted by acetylation to diacetyl hydrazine, which gets eliminated in the through the kidneys. So, some enzyme inducers such as rifampicin or even INH is also an enzyme inducer which causes more production of acetyl hydrazine, which is a toxic compound. There are two category of populations. One is slow acetylators. So the formation of acetyl hydrazine is increased and acetylation is slow in such patients, which leads to buildup of acetyl hydrazine, so causing hepatotoxicity, which is a very prominent adverse effect of the isoniazid. The next is it causes peripheral neuropathy by depletion of gamma aminobutyric acid. So it is always advisable to supplement the isoniazid therapy with pyridoxine. Whereas in case of fast accelerators, it leads to therapeutic failure. So these should be checked when they are put on isoniazid. This is the pharmacogenetics of isoniazid. The next drug is rifampicin. The host cell, when it is infected with the TB bacilli, the DNA of the TB bacilli produces its own RNA, and there is an enzyme called DNA dependent RNA polymerase, which has alpha and beta subunits that makes multiple copies of the mycobacterium RNA that leads to synthesis of its own proteins for its survival. So rifampicin actually binds with the beta subunit of the DNA dependent RNA polymerase and inhibits it. So this leads to deprivation of RNA formation and the essential proteins which kills the TB bacilli. So it blocks the beta subunit of the DNA dependent RNA polymerase. The most important thing which we have to remember in rifampicin, it is a strong or potent enzyme inducer. So when it has numerous drug interactions like HIV protease inhibitors, oral contraceptives, propranolol, quinidine, sulfonylureas, warfarin or prednisolone, when they are clubbed with rifampicin, it reduces their bioavailability and causes therapeutic failure of such drugs which are combined with rifampicin. Even rifampicin, it induces its own metabolism. The next drug is pyrazinamide. Is a host cell infected with the TB bacilli. The pyrazinamide enters into the TB bacilli with the help of a pyrazinamidase, an enzyme present in the TB bacilli. It gets converted to pyrazinoic acid. The pyrazinoic acid binds with the S2 subunit of the ribosomes, and it leads to production of toxic proteins that kills the mycobacterium. The important adverse effect of pyrazinamide is hepatotoxicity. It causes a decreased excretion of urate levels, so which leads to hyperuricemia and causes acute episodes of gout, which are the important adverse effects of pyrazinamide. The next drug is ethambutol. When the TB bacilli infects the host cell, the arabinose gets converted to arabinogalactan with the help of the enzyme arabinosyl transferase, which further leads to production of mycolic acid and its incorporation in the cell wall. The ethambutol enters into the TB bacilli cells and inhibits the enzyme arabinosyl transferase. So the formation of mycolic acid is interrupted, which leads to the killing of the TB bacilli and its division. The important adverse effects are ocular related, which is optic neuritis, blurred vision, and it may cause red and green blindness. Ethambutol is not advisable for children below 6 years because they may not report these adverse effects. So visual acuity should be checked properly when the adults are put on the ethambutol. The next drug is ethionamide. Actually, ethionamide when it enters into the cells, there are two enzymes, enol ACP reductase and fatty acid synthase 2, that the substrates are incorporated into the mycobacterial cell wall, which is essential for maintaining the integrity of the mycobacterial cell wall. So when ethionamide enters into the cells, it inhibits both the enzymes enol ACP reductase and fatty acid synthase 2, which leads to deprivation of the essential factors to maintain the integrity of mycobacterial cell wall, and that leads to bactericidal effect of ethionamide. The important adverse effects are gastrointestinal disturbances, hepatotoxicity, and neurotoxicity, because ethionamide is an analog of isoniazid, so it also causes neurotoxicity. So supplementation with pyridoxine could address the neurotoxicity. Next drug is cycloserine. In case of TB bacilli, we have already discussed L-alanine is converted to D-alanine and it is incorporated into the mycobacterial cell wall. Two enzymes are involved, alanine racemase and D-alanine ligase. The cycloserine actually enters into the TB bacilli cells and inhibits alanine ligase and D-alanine, alanine racemase and D-alanine ligase. It reduces the integrity of the mycobacterial cell wall and its division. The important adverse effects of cycloserine are related to neuropsychiatric symptoms. It is otherwise called cycserine also. It causes headache, somnolence, psychosis, and suicidal ideas. The next drug, which is an important new drug, is bedaquiline. Bedaquiline, actually, the mycobacterial cells, they generate ATP with the help of the enzyme ATP synthase. So bedaquiline binds with the ribosomal subunits of the TB bacilli, and it blocks the intermediary metabolism, so which leads to energy deprivation and cell death of the TB bacilli. The important adverse effects are GI disturbances such as diarrhea. Let us see some of the classical features of TB bacilli and what are the drugs which are used to address this. So one is intracellular bacteria, mycobacteria, which infects the cells. Isoniazid and rifampicin are preferable for intracellular bacteria. And next is extracellular bacteria. Isoniazid, rifampicin, and pyrazinamide can be used to address or kill the extracellular mycobacteria. And some patients they have fast multiplying TB bacilli. Isoniazid is the drug of choice for fast multiplying Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Some are intermediary multiplying. Rifampicin is the drug of choice for intermediary multiplying Mycobacterium. And some are slow growing bacilli. Pyrazinamide is preferable for slow growing Mycobacterium. For dormant stages, there are no drugs in the market to address the dormant stages. Let us see the drug resistance in the TB bacilli. The first one is the drug may not enter into the cells. The cells may not take up the drug inside it. That is the first case of resistance. Next is the formation of efflux pumps. The drugs, even if it enters into the cells, it is effluxed or thrown off out of the cells by generation of efflux pumps. The third option is the enzyme which converts the prodrug into the drug, like in case of isoniazid or pyrazinamide, the prodrug is converted to active drug. There is alteration in the binding site which leads to resistance of these drugs. And the more important is mutations in the DNA may cause multiple drug resistance. That is called MDR TB. The revised National Tuberculosis Program guidelines of India insists the TB treatment regimens as follows. So the first one is for new cases or for patients who have stopped but they are sensitive to the drugs. Usually they have two phases. One is intensive phase and another one is continuous phase. Usually intensive phase is 6 to 12 months and continuous phase is around 18 months. For new cases, the time period is less. It is 2 months of isoniazid, rifampicin, pyrazinamide and ethambutol, followed by a continuous phase of 4 months of isoniazid, rifampicin and ethambutol. For previously treated drug-sensitive cases, 2 months of isoniazid, rifampicin, pyrazinamide, ethambutol and streptomycin plus 1 month isoniazid, rifampicin, pyrazinamide and ethambutol, followed by the continuous phase of 5 months with isoniazid, rifampicin and ethambutol. In case of MDR-TB, what is MDR-TB? If it is resistant to rifampicin or isoniazid, then it is called MDR-TB. So there will be a intensive phase for 6 to 9 months with pyrazinamide, ethambutol, kanamycin, ethionamide, cycloserine and levofloxacin, followed by continuous phase of 18 months with levofloxacin, ethionamide, cycloserine and ethambutol. In case of extensive drug metabolism, these patients are resistant to all the uh, first line drugs such as isoniazid, rifampicin, pyrazinamide and ethambutol and even fluoroquinolones. So they have the regimen is 7 drugs in the intensive phase and 6 drugs in the continuous phase. They are capreomycin, moxifloxacin, high dose isoniazid, para-aminosalicylic acid, clofazimine, linezolid and amoxicillin with clavulanic acid. For pregnant tuberculosis cases, it is 2 months with isoniazid, rifampicin, pyrazinamide and ethambutol with 4 months of continuous phase of isoniazid, rifampicin and ethambutol. So in case of Mycobacterium avium complex, which occurs in HIV and AIDS, the intensive phase is clarithromycin with or azithromycin plus ethambutol with rifabutin, because we have seen in rifampicin it is an enzyme inducer. So many drugs will be taken by the AIDS patients. So it is given with rifabutin and with along with or ciprofloxacin, levofloxacin or moxifloxacin. The maintenance phase for 18 months is clarithromycin or azithromycin plus ethambutol or rifabutin or 1 fluoroquinolone. So this is a short nutshell information of all the anti-tubercular drugs, their mechanism, what are the regimens and their preference for the slow growing or fast growing TB bacilli. I hope it will be useful for the pharmacy students. Thank you for listening. Happy learning. Kindly share this to more of your friends and let them utilize it. Kindly subscribe to our Pharma Topics channel to put more videos and encourage us. Thank you.